All right. Fresh off of going to the Guardians game yesterday. You know, so yeah. For those of you that mostly listen to the NFL podcast and don't listen to the MLB podcast, me and my friends, RJ and Andy, went to the Guardians game against the Detroit Tigers yesterday at Progressive Field, rooting for the Guards, of course. And it was a very great game to go to. Honestly, if I was completely unbiased, it would have been an absolute classic to be at. Still a great game to be at. It was just very upsetting when it's 0-0, top of the ninth, and you have the best closer in the MLB who has never given up more than one run in his career. And he gets a 3-run homer hit off of him by Carpenter. And it was really funny when Carpenter walked up for the Bears. Goodness, Ryan. For the Tigers. RJ and I jokingly looked at each other when Kerry Carpenter came up and we jokingly looked at each other, and I forget which one of us said it first. We went, well, Jesus was a carpenter. Making the joke because the joke is that, Kerry Carpenter's been playing so well that he is essentially baseball Jesus for the Tigers. And he then proceeds to hit a 3-home run shot and practically win them the game. The Guardians would end up, obviously, they're the home team. They got one more AB. But great game to go to. I just really hope the Guards can still win the series. I actually still think they will. I have basically the utmost faith that the Guardians are still going to go to the World Series and they're still going to win the DS and they're still going to win the pennant. But it was very sad to watch that live. You felt the souls of 30,000 people just leave their bodies when that ball got absolutely blasted out of that stadium. But I'm sure I'll talk about it more after we do our pennant predictions, which will be probably Monday of next week. And then Tuesday of next week, I'll have this NFL wrap-up that we always do every week. And then at some point next week, I will also be dropping my NBA podcast. So next week is my big week because we do MLB pennant predictions, another week of NFL, and then at some point I'll do the NBA season predictions. That's might be the most. Is that the most podcasts I've ever done in a week? 3? I think so. I think I've never done 3 in a week. Somebody can fact check me on that. If there is one of you that is wants the role of Sort of Sports podcast historian, you can take that up. One of you 66 subscribers. I think I have 2 listeners on Spotify. It might just be my sister twice, though. So, all right, anyways, so the topic for today's episode is yesterday I was on the phone with Genevieve, and I was talking about different NFL teams. I'm like, yeah, but I think they're this good. Well, I don't know. I think this team's a level below that. And we started talking. I was like, do you just want me to rank them on different tiers? And she was like, yeah. So then that's what I sat there and did. As you can see, this is the joys of dating me. Everybody be thankful. If you're dating somebody, turn to them and thank them that they don't make you do this on FaceTime at 11 o'clock at night when you have to be up at 5 in the morning, because that's what I did. If I think it was 5:30, Genevieve had to be up. She seemed all right with it, though. She seemed to enjoy it. So props to her. Thank you to Genevieve. But most of you, I'm sure, would not enjoy that. So be thankful that the only time you have to listen to me is when you click on this podcast. But let's go into the tiers. So I got 5 tiers. I know we're only 5 weeks in the NFL season. It would probably make more sense to do this after week 8, right? Or week 9, where it's halfway through the year. Let's rank them. Why week 5? Why after week 5, right? Because I felt like it. I mean, that's really all it is because this is when I felt like it. So we're going to do this, and maybe we'll do it again some point later in the year. Definitely am not going to do this every week. I just thought it would be a fun way to kind of talk about some teams I don't usually talk about, because usually what I do is Monday night or Tuesday morning, I sit down and I just write out all the topics I want to talk about from the NFL, and then that's what I talk about. I don't really have too many set things. I do the marquee matchups, do the primetime picks. Well, it's how often do we talk about the Falcons actually we've been talking about the Falcons a decent amount this year. How much do we really talk about the Seahawks? I hardly ever speak on the Seahawks. I just don't. So there are some teams I don't talk about a lot, and this will give us a chance to do that. So my 5 tiers we're doing is we get the top tier, which is the big boys. These are the teams that I think can win the Super Bowl right now. Tier below that, we got close but no cigar. These are teams that you could be like, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And I could see the vision. I really could. But me personally, I do not see it. They're going to have to improve throughout the next 13 weeks. Tier below that is they need to take another step, whether that's they get worse and they start planning for the draft, or they get better and they start trying to be more of a contender. These teams could make the playoffs, but they also very well could not, and they're just kind of in this weird in between. Then we have the bad teams, and then the final tier is the doggy-doo teams. So that's our 5 tiers. We have the big boys, which are your Super Bowl contenders, your close but no cigar teams, your teams that need to take another step, your bad teams, and then your doggy-doo teams. Doggy-doo teams have a chance of getting the number 1 pick. So I'm not going to go in any particular order. I am just literally going to pick one and go. I don't have it preset. We are just going to talk about every team, and then I'll put them in. I guess we'll start with the 2 teams that played last night on Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. Kansas City Chiefs, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going to put them in the big boys. Thing is with the Chiefs is obviously last week they won 26-13 over the Saints. That was last night. Thing is with the Chiefs is like offensively, they're kind of weird at the moment. They're not, they had some injuries. Rashee Rice was huge. Like when he went down for them, I was like, that's tough. It's real tough. He was a big piece of that. Juju obviously played well for them last night. But the way they've built their team is let's have an elite defense. Let's have an elite defense, and then Mahomes will figure it out offensively because we have Mahomes and Andy Reid. And that works for them. And to me, if you put a gun to my head and said pick a team to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to pick the Chiefs if my life depends on it. Because that's what makes sense. Because they do have an elite defense, and Mahomes can find a way to make them win. The Bills are trying to emulate this. But obviously the Bills did lose this past week to another one of the big boys, and that is the Houston Texans. We'll get to the Saints in a moment. I know I said we're going to do the Saints, but honestly, we might just do all the big boys now. You know what? Would that be better? Would you prefer that? Actually, let's do this. You know what? We're going to go in order. So we're going to start with the big boys. Then we'll do the close but no cigars. Then we'll do the need to take another step. Then we'll do the bad. Then we'll do the doggy-do. We'll do it in order. I think that's better podcast. I think it's better. Because if it was a video, I think it would be easier for you to see. But it's hard for you to track all these things. So we're just going to do it in order. So the big boys are going first. These are the Super Bowl contenders. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and now the Houston Texans. Texans played the Bills quite well, I thought. We did see the rare Stroud interception, almost 2 interceptions. But there was a play, and I think it was on 3rd and 10. And I was this last week, and I was with Genevieve, and I was watching the Bills game with her. And so it was very much a shame the Bills lost while I was with her. That was really not exciting for her. I'm going to be going to the Bills game, actually, in 2 weeks when they play the Titans, which I'm sure they will absolutely demolish them. But it'll be great because I'll get to watch Josh Allen masterclass. But the Texans, there was a play where it's like 3rd, 15, 3rd and 10, something like that. It was 3rd and at least 10, I know that. Stroud avoids a sack, like basically gets the guy off his leg, rolls out right, stiff arms a defender, and gets past it for a first down. Stroud is not, out of the elite quarterbacks, my top 5 quarterbacks obviously being Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stroud, Burrow, in that order. You're putting C.J. Stroud over Joe Burrow? Yes. Is part of it the health thing? Yes. I understand smaller sample size. Joe Burrow's went to a Super Bowl. I get all these things, but come on. C.J. Stroud is so good. He is probably the least elusive out of those 5. And when he did that, I was like, oh no. He literally just can't be stopped. So the Texans right now, I think, aren't playing their best football. I think their running game needs to get better, and it seems to every week. I also think passing, like Nico Collins is so good for them right now. I'm like, okay, we need to elevate Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. Diggs had a good week. He was kind of being a catty bitch, which I didn't really like, but whatever. Talking about the NFL like I'm on like Sex and the City. Well, Stephon was such a catty bitch last week against Buffalo that I don't really know if I like him anymore. Yeah. What's the male equivalent to Sex and the City? Entourage, right? Wouldn't that be it? For what it's worth, I have watched maybe 10 minutes of Sex and the City, and 0 minutes of Entourage. So this is just me guessing off the HBO posters. But I think that's kind of the idea. I think. Anyways, the Texans, I think, by January are going to be playing some incredible football. I think it's a team that is going to continue to improve throughout the year. And it just feels like they look better every week. Like they knew last week they shouldn't, 2 weeks ago, I guess now, they shouldn't have been that close of a game with the Jaguars, and they prepped for the Bills, and they played some great football. So I think they're still a Super Bowl contender. They probably look the worst out of the other. I mean, there's 4 teams I'm going to put in the big boys, and they probably look so far the worst out of those 4, but I still think they can win it. Let's go to the next team in the big boys. That is the Buffalo Bills. I think this is the best Bills team I've seen. On paper, it's probably the worst team Josh has had since his rookie year. I would say pre-Stephon, so 2019. Probably the worst team since Stephon. So that'd be Josh's second year on paper. But the way they play, it feels like their defense is maybe playing the best I've seen it play. James Cook is like really good for them. He just always seems to make a good play for them. He feels like the new Nick Chubb for me. Not as good as Nick Chubb, obviously, but he has that I got 9 yards, then I extend for that extra 10 or 11. And he always does that. I don't know if Georgia just trains that, but Sony Michel did not do that. So I don't know if Georgia trains that. But he's so good. And I think not having Shakir hurt a lot more than people realize. I think Shakir is like really good for them. I did see a tweet. It's like, yeah, I think Khalil Shakir is good, but he shouldn't make that much of a difference. Like, how did they play that bad? And I get that, but at the same time, like he's been playing really well for them. So I also think Coleman will continue to improve as the year goes on. So I think I also think this is a team that will be playing better in January. All these big boys, I feel like aren't playing their best football yet. And to me, that's a good sign. Whereas the Saints, they played their best football the 2 first weeks of the season. Last team in the big boys are the Detroit Lions. For obvious reasons. I think they're starting to find their groove. They're starting to find their rhythm. They're starting to smack teams. And to me, that's nothing but a good sign. They obviously didn't play this last week. But when they played the Seahawks, it was like, oh, wait a minute. The Seahawks might come back. No, Jared Goff played perfectly, like literally perfectly. Good game. This week, the Lions are going to be playing the Cowboys. And I expect them to smack the Cowboys. I have no doubt in my mind about that. So I think the Lions are starting to find their groove, and they know they're the best team in the NFC. So that is the big boys, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Houston Texans, the Buffalo Bills, and the Detroit Lions. As far as Week 5 goes, maybe we'll do this again at some point, and I'll have the big boys. Maybe it'll just be down 2 teams. Maybe it'll be up to 6. Who knows? But as far as you said, who's going to win the Super Bowl, those are the 4 teams in my mind I can see winning the Super Bowl. So there you go. Close but no cigar. These are teams that some people might say can win the Super Bowl. Personally, I think are close but no cigar. If you've never heard this phrase before, you probably don't hang out with your grandparents enough. Or maybe it's just a Midwestern thing. I don't know. People say it a lot in Ohio. So anyways, I'm going to put the Baltimore Ravens in close but no cigar. I think this team's really good. I think Derrick Henry is playing really well for them. I think the defense, if I'm the opposing team, I really don't like their defense. They piss me off. That's probably a good thing. I just don't, in my mind, when it comes to the playoffs, and it's the Ravens' schedule lines up where they got to play the Texans in the DS and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship if they win. DS, I'm in baseball mode, my bad. Let's say the Ravens, playoff schedule comes up, right? And it's like their path is Bills or Texans in the divisional and Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I don't see them making, I don't see them winning those. I just don't. I feel like against the Bills, yeah, they played really well. I don't expect the Bills to lose to them again. I think really, really good teams, like both these teams are, tend to not lose twice against each other. Usually they split. I think the Texans can beat this team relatively easily. I feel like the Texans would attack them in a lot of ways they don't want to be attacked. And then the Chiefs will beat this team. The Chiefs defense will shut down this offense. I think Lamar just has to do more for them offensively. And to me, I don't like that. That's not what I want this team to be. I desperately want to see Lamar not have to have so much of an offensive burden. And I think Derrick Henry could be that. And he was that against the Bills, and that's why they played so well. But if he's not going to be that every week, what are we doing here? So to me, that's why it's close but no cigar. Next up in the close but no cigar group. Oh, this is, I don't know if I want to get too spicy. I'm going to get spicy. We're getting spicy. Here we go. The Los Angeles Chargers. I honestly think this team is going to be really good. I get their 2-2. I get that. I know it's not a record that pops off the page. But I think the way that Harbaugh has this team playing is going to lead to success. They were in position to beat the Chiefs. He just is not letting Herbert throw down the field. Why does Herbert continue to have coaches who won't let him throw down the field? I do not understand. But regardless, if he starts letting Herbert throw down the field, they can add a whole new dynamic to their offense that'll make them even better. And the fact that that's not even unlocked yet and they're still playing well impresses me. There is some major issues defensively. They are also a very old team, which isn't a great sign. But I think I just think Harbaugh's got him playing his way, and I feel like his way will win them games. Now, my prediction of them winning the division is getting harder and harder as the Chiefs continue to be undefeated. I will admit that. It's tough, but we'll see. Next up in close but no cigar, I have the Green Bay Packers. I think this team is another one by like December will be looking incredible. They've had nothing but weird games because they had the Brazil games. Sorry, they had the game in Brazil, and then they had the Malik Willis set where they had to start him, and then you had Jordan Love feel like he had to be Brett Favre, and now you had a bye week. I think they've reset this week. I feel like the Packers are about to go on a tear. Let me pull up their schedule because I feel like they've reset and they're like, okay, what are we? What are we going to do? You know, how are we going to play this? And wait, they didn't have a bye week. What am I doing? What am I thinking? They played the Rams this week. They won. When is their bye? Oh, it's November. It's a November bye. It's after the first week of November. I think like they're starting to find. Sorry, I don't know why. I just completely didn't clock that they played the Rams. Oh, the Rams. It's been a rough year for the Rams, but I think they're going to start to find their groove. They play the Cardinals this week. Cardinals are frisky, but I genuinely think they beat the Cardinals. Then they play the Texans. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Texans. I'm being serious. I wouldn't be surprised if that matchup happened and the Packers just got to go on and beat them. Then they play the Jaguars. Definitely going to win that. They play the Lions. That'll be like a real test if they win a 3-game win streak. And then they play the Lions. Then they play the Bears, the Niners, the Dolphins, then the Lions again. So you got another 3-game streak that I think are all winnable games. I don't expect them to lose to the Niners. I'm being serious. So this isn't exactly the easiest schedule. I feel like the Bears are 2 wins for them. The Jaguars are a win. The Cardinals should be a win. Finns are a win. Seahawks probably win. So are Saints. But Vikings, Niners, Lions, Texans are all relatively challenging games. I guess Seahawks maybe I should say is a challenging game, but not the easiest schedule. I just think they're going to get it going on. Guys, I'm going to be honest, not a lot of analysis here. I'm low-key going off vibes. I just feel like they're going to do well. I'm going to be honest. I was going to try to justify my point, but it hit me. I'm like, actually, I just kind of feel it with this team. I just feel like they're kind of good. I don't know. I think the Packers are going to do well. All right, next one, the Vikings. Technically, I think for a lot of people, the Vikings would be in the big boys. I want to state that these are in no particular order. Like, the big boys aren't ranked 1 to 4. Like, the Chiefs are the biggest of boys and the Lions are the least big. It's just, if you're a big boy, you're a big boy. So the close but no cigar, I'm putting in the Vikings. I just don't fully believe it yet. Now, if they're 10-0, maybe I'll buy in. But I feel like this team just reeks of, like, they're going to start, like, 11-0, and then by the playoffs, they're going to be, like, 12-5. And then they lose in the wild card or the divisional. And then we look back in 3 years, and we're like, oh, yeah, remember when Sam Darnold led them to 12 wins? That's what this team reeks of. Like the Skull Vikings with Teddy Bridgewater. That, to me, is the Vikings right now. That's what it reeks, like absolutely reeks of right now. I think JJ's going to kill it there next year. But to me, they're close but no cigar. Ryan, what would you have to see to make them a big boy? Nothing. Genuinely nothing. Like, I get they only have nothing left to prove to me. They're 5-0. I should just shut up and enjoy them. It's not that I hate them. I really don't. I think the Vikings are fun. But I just don't personally like. You know what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to pull up their schedule. And I'm going to literally give you the games that I need to see them win to prove it to me. Here we go. Here's who they've played so far. The Giants, the Niners, the Packers, the Vikings. The Vikings. They didn't play themselves. I mean, in practice, I'm sure they did inter-squad scrimmage. But let me redo this. Giants, Niners, Texans, Packers, Jets. That's who they've played. But Ryan, you think the Texans are a Super Bowl contender and the Packers are really good and the Niners, I'm assuming you think are good. You're right. I do think that. I do. And they play the Lions in 2 weeks. This is their bye week. They play the Lions. Let's see them beat the Lions. That, to me, is let's see it. Okay? Because you look at their schedule, the only time they're playing good teams are the Lions 2 more times, because one time in 2 weeks, and then one time, it's their last game of the season in January. They play the Packers again. I think the Packers will beat them second time they meet. The Seahawks, I'm not sure how good they are, but they're going to play them. The Falcons, I'm not sure how good they are. They're going to play them. And the Cardinals and Colts. There's no Chiefs. There's no Ravens. There's no Bills. There's no anybody like that. They're playing the best teams they're facing this year are the Texans, who they completely trounced. The Packers, who they beat with Jordan Love, and the Lions twice. Those are their biggest games. I must admit, if they win all those, if the Vikings somehow go 17-0, guys, I don't know, it just reeks to me. This team just reeks of, oh yeah, remember that? Like that 2020 Steelers team. To me, that's what they reeked of. All right. Oh my, I'm going to do another crazy thing, but it's okay. Let's do a less crazy one. We only got 2 more teams I think I'm going to put in close but no cigar. That's the San Francisco 49ers. This hasn't been exactly a year from hell team. That team, I think, has become the Rams. Just it feels like everything's going wrong for them. But it definitely hasn't been the strongest of years. I think there's a bit of a Super Bowl hangover. That division is weird. I don't really know which team I want to take to win it, because I feel like I would love to take the Cardinals, but I don't like their defense at all. They're just the Commanders of the West, but less good offensively, but also less bad defensively. So, the Niners are just kind of in a weird spot. Props to them for not really being concerned by McCaffrey leaving. I mean, it's one of those teams where when the playoffs come, people are going to take them pretty far. But I just don't think they're as good as they've been. That's just kind of my thought. All right. I think that's really all I had to say. It's really it. I don't know. Just kind of an odd. I don't know. The Niners are just in a weird spot right now. I don't know. It's just weird. It's like the Niners are going to win 10, 11 games, and it's going to be like, oh, yeah. And, like, I'm not going to take them to do anything. Like, they're not – maybe the NFC Championship, and then they lose. Like, I don't know. Does anyone really think this Niners team's winning the Super Bowl? Does anybody think this team's better than Lions? Like, genuinely. Because I don't. Do you? I don't know. It's just a weird team. All right, last one for Close Manu Cigar. I'm putting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it. I like their defense. I like their offense. I think they're coached well. I think it's a fun team. I think it's the best team in the NFC South. I think the Falcons are starting to maybe, but I don't think the Falcons can beat good teams, like really good teams. Because here's the thing, yes, the Falcons beat them. Yes, I understand that. Ryan, the Falcons beat them over. Yes, they did. I think the Bucs are still better. I understand the very definition of that doesn't make sense. But I think this Buccaneers team is better, and I also think within a month, this Buccaneers team will still be better. I just think it's a better team. So I'm putting the Bucs in close but no cigar. All right, need to take another step. This is where the Cincinnati Bengals go. Bengals are 1-4. Yeah, you heard me. Were you listening? Yeah, Bengals are 1-4. Their only win is against my Carolina Panthers. I don't think anyone's impressed. Honestly, the Panthers play pretty well against them too. I honestly don't think this team's going to make the playoffs. That, to me, if you want to take like the craziest take out of this podcast, that's what you should clip right there. Yes, I just ranked the Bucs above the Bengals, but I genuinely believe that. I think, honestly, the only team I've really done super dirty so far is the Falcons. There's an argument the Falcons should be in close but no cigar, but I don't fully believe in them because the Falcons are weird. Like one week they look electric, and then the next week they play bad. So I don't get them. I just don't. But need to take another step. Bengals. I don't see it this year. Next up, I need to take another step. That's the Washington Commies. The Commanders playing really well. They are like right now like the best offense in the NFL. They're 4-1. That defense is bad, and that is why I'm not putting them close but no cigar. This team could very well win the NFC East. Jaden Daniels probably going to win Rookie of the Year. The MVP hype for him is kind of crazy. CJ Stroud had a better rookie year than Jaden Daniels is having. Jaden Daniels is having a really good rookie year, though. I've been seeing ESPN say, like, there was like so when I get lunch at this one place on campus, they're always running ESPN, and it's always during the Pat McAfee show because I usually get lunch around like 1 or 2. And one of the headlines was, is Jaden Daniels the best quarterback in the NFC? Insane statement. Jordan Love is better than Jaden Daniels. We know this because we've watched Jordan Love longer. Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC. There is no doubt in my mind that Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC. Matthew Stafford, for me, is the 6th best quarterback in the NFL. He is the best quarterback in the NFC. That is undoubtable in my mind. I think after that, it's like Jordan Love, Goff, Hurts, and Purdy would be the top 5. Now, if you want to say Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts, that's fine with me. I'm fine with that. Really am. I think Goff's got the history for me. You know what I mean? I think Daniels is doing very well with Commanders. If they beat the Ravens this week, they can go in close but no cigar. But I'm going to give you guys a little thing of advice here. There is no way in hell that Commanders team is beating the Ravens this week. And you know that's going to be the marquee matchup for 1 p.m. this week. I also like Baltimore and DC. I didn't realize how close they actually were in proximity. So maybe this will be like a new little rivalry. That'll be fun. A little cross-conference rivalry between, the two speedy quarterbacks that won Heisman and their East Coast teams. But this Commanders team is really fun. They're very entertaining. And the defense is bad. Now, in like a year, if they can get that defense to be at least average and the offense continues to hum at the level it's humming, this might be a really good team, like one of the best in the NFC. Props to them. Props to Dan Quinn. Props to everything they're doing this year. I am not putting them close to no cigar, though, because I think that defense is so bad. By every metric, it's bad. Like they have a defense that's on the level of the teams that we're going to put in doggy do. So I just can't do it. That's why the Ravens, I think, are going to beat them. Because the Ravens, like to me, the Commanders face the Steelers, and that's like their worst possible matchup. Like a Ravens or a Steelers. Where the Ravens are interesting because the Ravens are fine to do a Steelers game where, what's played first to 17 wins. The Ravens are fine to play a game like that. But then the Ravens are like, oh, you want to play first to 40? We'll do that too. I mean, that's interesting. Steelers are like, they just want to play first to 17. That's how they like playing. That's why they got beat by the Cowboys in one of the weirdest Sunday Night Football games I've ever watched, where I feel like the Steelers played better and looked better, but yet the Cowboys won kind of definitively. And like I'm still high on the Steelers. I think the Steelers are still like probably better than the Cowboys, but somehow the Cowboys won. It was a very weird game, very odd game. And it was so late. It was so weird. thought Fields looked great. Honestly, I feel like the Steelers outplayed them. I really do. It just happened to be that the Cowboys ended up winning. Things just kind of fell their way late. Guess we're talking about the Steelers. Might as well put them in the need to take another step because that's where they belong here at the Commanders and Bengals. Steelers need to take another step. I think I don't know what that was. It was like the website that I'm using to do the tier list like loaded in an ad and played volume there for a second. But Steelers, what do they need to do, Ryan? A little more offensive dynamics. I mean, the defense obviously doesn't need anything. It's just, like offensively, it's just like you got to be a little less afraid of scoring more than 3 touchdowns. But that's how Tomlin wants to play. He wants to play 1st to 17. So it's like, if that's how they're always going to play, that's fine. They're just going to be a need to take another step. They're not going to be close but no cigar. And they're not going to be the big boys. They're just not. So, need to take another step. There you go, Steelers. Next up, and the need to take another step, Philadelphia Eagles. And by step, I mean fire Nick Sirianni. I don't think there's a single team in the NFL that hates their head coach more than them. And the Jets just fired their head coach. Yes, by the way, the Jets fired Robert Saleh. In case you haven't heard, that happened earlier this morning. I'm sure you've heard it by now. Not exactly shocked. You knew they were going to make a big change. Things are not going well for the New York Jets. So, yeah, the Eagles on paper should be like a top 5 team. Like they should be in the big boys on paper. I think it'll be interesting if they get rid of Sirianni this year and they get a new coach in there and Jalen Hurts goes back to being electric, or if that 1 year is just a weird fluke. That's what's interesting to me. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with this Eagles team. I think the Commanders have already passed them. I think within a year or two, the Giants can pass them in the division. Right now, them the Cowboys are going to continue to flounder, in my opinion. So there you go. Next up, and need to take another step, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Joe Flacco is elite. He plays so good. I stand by it. The Browns should have kept him. I don't think it's a hot take. I think everybody would agree. It's very dumb that they didn't. Yeah, props to Joe Flacco for cooking for the Colts. I really like what they have going offensively. The defense, I think, needs to be better. I think Anthony Richardson is probably their franchise guy. I've got no concerns over that. But it's just weird where it's like, okay, if Joe's better, but Anthony's your guy, like, what do you really do for this season? I don't know. It's interesting. You need Anthony Richardson. You need to get better play out of Anthony Richardson to be as good as you can. Because I honestly think if you continue to rock with Joe and he plays this way, or you can get Anthony Richardson to come in and take a next step up, then you can be in the close but no cigar, and you can literally be like gunning for a playoff spot and maybe even get like far in the playoffs. I think this Colts team's pretty good. So, especially offensively. They just have a lot of weapons. Okay, I think we got 3. I'm looking at the list. Oh my gosh. We have 4 teams left? Yeah, we might have 4 teams left and need to take another step. Okay, so the Cardinals are in need to take another step. I need the defense to improve. The offense is there. This team feels like they're like a year or two away. There is a scenario in which they get hot late this year, though. They stay kind of in the mix for the NFC West, and then they get hot late in the year and they win the division and they get to the playoffs or they sneak in as the 7th seed. That is very likely. Very likely. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Okay. Next up, and need to take another step, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They're just so weird. There's weeks they look really good, and Kirko plays great, and there's weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? So I'm just not sure how to feel about them. So that is why they go here. I feel like I have a better idea about them. If we do another tier list later in the year, I'll have more idea how to feel about them, but I just don't know how to feel about them at the moment. Oh, do I put the New Orleans Saints and need to take another step? I think I should. Yeah, I'm going to put them in need to take another step, but I don't really know what that step is. I don't think they're really bad. I don't really think they're good. We talked about earlier in the year, if they had played the Chiefs on Monday Night Football and defeated them, and now the Saints are 5-0, maybe this team's legit. They've lost their last 3 games. I think that first 2 weeks was just a weird fluke. They're not that good. I genuinely thought about putting them in bad, but I'm just putting them in need to take another step. That's where they're going to sit. So there you go. All right, let's move on to the bad teams. This is where the New York Giants go. They won without Malik Nabers, though. they won without Malik Neighbors. So, whoopsie. Stop. Sorry. Seahawks go and need to take another step. Seahawks are in a weird spot. It's like, because Geno played well. You can't even be like, oh, well, they need a better quarterback. Geno plays well for them. He really does. So it's just like, and the defense is pretty good. I don't know. The Seahawks are in a weird spot. It's a tough look when you were 3-0 and you lost to you lost to the Lions, and everybody was like, hey, but, the Lions are really good. And then you turn around and lose to the Giants. That's tough. That's tough. Look, you kind of lost a lot of your reputation there. Mike McDonald. Okay. New head coach of the Seahawks. That hurts you, pal. You need to step it up this week against who the Seahawks play this week. The Niners on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, you really need to win that game. Like, you need that. So, you don't want to start 3-0 and then go 0-3 after that. That's tough. Real tough. Okay, Giants are bad, but they did get a win there, so they're not doggy-doo. I think this Giants team, if they get Shedeur, I think the Raiders are probably going to get Shedeur. Let's say the Giants. All right, let me look up NFL QB class rankings. I'm assuming Quinn or Cam Ward is the next one, but I'm curious who they're saying at this point. So, yeah, it's Quinn Ewers is who they have ranked number 2. They have Cam Ward 3, Carson Beck 4. Carson Beck 4 after everything that's transpired. My goodness. Jalen Milroe 5. Okay, here's the thing. If you said Carolina Panthers, they're drafting a new QB, I only want Shedeur or Cam Ward. Those are the only two I'd want. I'd want Cam Ward the most. I think Shedeur is the best prospect in this draft. No doubt about it. I just don't think the Panthers will be able to get him. I don't think Deion will let him go there. I think Deion wants him in Vegas. Maybe Deion could be sold on the Giants. That's about it. Is there a world in which the Dolphins draft a new quarterback? Is there a world in which Tua's retires and the Dolphins draft Shedeur Sanders? Is there a world we could live in? That'd be kind of awesome. Like, I'm not lying. That would be kind of awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that could happen. Tua retires. Dolphins have a terrible year. Number 1 pick. They get Shedeur Sanders. That would be insane. That would honestly be electric. I would love for that. That would be sweet. Oh, goodness. That would be awesome. I think he's going to be a Raider, though. I don't know. Dolphins get Cam Ward, maybe? Miami to Miami. Maybe. Same stadium. Oh, my gosh. That would be cool, too. So what, Giants, Quinn Ewers, or Jalen Milroe? Is that it? This is leaving like nobody for my Panthers, though. This is tough. I do not want Carson Beck. I do not want Dylan Gabriel. I do not want Garrett Nussmeier. I do not want Jackson Dart. Don't want Miller Moss. I don't want Drew Aller. Hell no. I don't want Cade Klubnik. I don't want any of these guys. Ugh. I only want Shedeur or Cam. You could maybe talk me into Quinn Ewers. You can't talk me into Jalen Milroe. I refuse. Not for my Panthers. I guess some Giants fans want him because they're like, oh, that could be Dayball's new Josh Allen. Maybe. Who knows? Okay. Anyways, Giants are bad, but I think it's going to be an interesting team in like 2 years. I actually think they're on a decent path. I really do. Hopefully they don't fire Daboll. I think he's all right. All right, next up in the bad teams, that's where the New York Jets go. That's why they fired their coach. They just need to play better. Oh my gosh. This is why in 2023 I predicted the Jets to go like 9-8. Like, I wasn't high on them. Then this year I got excited and I took them to win the division and I was stupid. I'm taking the Bills to win that division every year. Like, I'm done. Until they don't, I'm taking them to win it. And they're going to win it this year. They're the best team in the division. Should have never doubted Josh Allen. My days of being a Bills hater are so over, and it's probably 95% Genevieve, so you guys should all give her credit. But I'm so done just hating it. They're so good, and they're so much fun to watch. They are my favorite team to watch. The Bills are, genuinely. You're like, Ryan, it's not the Lions? It's not the Texans? Really? It's not the Panthers? Yeah, hell no, it ain't the Panthers. Why not the Ravens? You love Lamar. I do love Lamar. Why not the Bucs? You love Baker. Yeah, I do. But the thing is with the Bills is that I really like James Cook. Whereas the Ravens, I hand off to Derrick Henry. I'm like, okay, good for him. And I don't really like the receivers. I just don't. I don't think they're giving. Not Zay Flowers isn't bad. I just don't. I'm never like, oh, look at Nelson Aguilar over the middle. Come on. Yeah. And then the Lions, I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. The Lions are super fun to watch. Josh Allen might be the most fun to watch. And then the only reason it's not the Texans, because it probably should be the Texans, because I actually love watching C.J. Stroud. I think I might like watching C.J. Stroud more than Josh Allen. There's honestly an argument for that. They don't have James Cook, and Joe Mixon nor Cam Akers is as entertaining. Now, receiver-wise, they got the Bills cooked because they have Stephon Diggs, and the big one for me is Nico Collins. Nico Collins is awesome. I love Nico Collins, and huge Nico Collins guy. I genuinely think he's like a top 5 receiver at the moment. He's awesome. And that's the thing that the Lions don't have is like I love Amon-Ra, and I think Jameson Williams is making strides. But if you said which receiving core, I'm watching the Texans receiving core over the Lions. The only reason the Bills have the Texans receiving core beat is because I actually think Shakir's kind of good and Keon Coleman's kind of fun. So, the Texans and Bills definitely the best 2 to watch. But I watch the Bills most because it's more fun for me because my dad likes Josh Allen, my mom thinks he's fun, and then Genevieve obviously really likes the Bills. So that makes them my favorite team to watch. There you go. You want the honest truth. It's like 90% her. So there you go. You caught me. Next up in the bad teams after the New York Jets, we're going to put the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think that team's good. They might win 9 games. I don't think that team's any good. I don't know how they got lucky against that team is not good. Don't lie to me. Like, don't lie to yourself. The team is not good. It's not. It's just not a good team. You know who else isn't a good team? The Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams played his best game he's played his whole career against the Carolina Panthers. Who was surprised? No one. That team is still bad. I think their defense is doing them a lot of favors. I think Caleb Williams, while not bad, might permanently be beaten out for the rest of his career by Jaden Daniels, which is hilarious because now people are starting to be like, oh, well, I thought Jaden Daniels should have been the number 1 pick the whole time. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Shut up. Here's the thing with Jaden Daniels, I will say, it's wild, is he has been playing college football his freshman year, right? His freshman year in college football, he played 12 games. He started. He was a starter for Arizona State as a freshman. Okay? Joe Burrow was playing college football then. Jaden Daniels played college football that long, guys. I just want to make sure everybody understands where we're at here, though. Jaden Daniels played college football kind of a long time because he played for 5 years. We got a lot of guys that play for 3 years coming in the NFL. He played 2 extra years in college football. Just kind of wild. Now, does that take anything away from him? No. But I do think that might factor in how he's been able to click at a quicker rate than some of these other guys. Maybe. I also do think he actually just might be better than Caleb Williams, though. I'm not even going to lie. He might literally just be better than Caleb Williams. Which is great, because I think it'd be fun. But people trying to act like they saw this coming are complete liars. They're like, oh, well, the Commanders were going to take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. They had number 1 pick. No, they weren't. People were acting like Caleb Williams was the next Patrick Mahomes. They were saying the Bears were going to be a playoff team. Don't lie to me. Don't do this. Goodness. Disgust me. All right. Next up in the bad teams are the LA Rams. This is mostly injuries. Matt Stafford, you are the best quarterback in the NFC. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Denver Broncos are also bad. They are 3-2. They have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. How is this happening? What type of voodoo trickery is this? Now, granted, Orion, you say. How do the Denver Broncos, who did they play? That is an excellent choice. That is an excellent. My mistake. I messed up our fake conversation. That is completely one-sided, except also double-sided because I'm putting words in your mouth and making you speak them to me. That sounds really disgusting. My mistake. I don't mean to put words in your mouth. We're moving on. The Broncos lost to the Seahawks and they lost to the Steelers. They started off 0-2. They then ripped off 3 straight wins against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New York Jets, and the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know how they beat the Bucs that much. I really don't. I think the Bucs are good. I don't know how they did that. The Jets won. The Jets are not doing well at all. Fine. The Raiders aren't good either. Whatever. The Broncos do have a pretty tough schedule coming up, though, because they play the Chargers this week. Probably going to lose that. Most likely going to lose that. Then they play the Saints. They could lose that on Thursday Night Football. Maybe they don't. Goodness, a Bo Nix Derek Carr graphic is going to grace our screens for Thursday Night Football. Oh, my goodness. Like the commercial when it's like, let's flip the switch for Thursday Night Football on Prime. And it's going to be like Bo Nix highlights and like Derek Carr. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Then they play the Panthers. They'll win that. And so then they play the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Falcons. They could go 0-3 there. Later on in the year, they play the Colts, Bengals, Chiefs again, obviously, Chargers again. Yeah, they might end, though, with like 6 wins. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, another year in Nixie. Nix is the disciple of Jameis Winston, where he isn't really like, he's just doing crazy, like, just crazy stuff. Like, he's throwing, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, what you're like, okay, what do I mean by when I say that? Like, he just bombs that shit downfield. He like has no care for like what happens. He's the new Jameis Winston. Like he's gonna have a year if they continue to start him. Let's say the Broncos do this for like 2-3 years, and then they decide they're gonna move on from him. He's gonna have a year where he throws like 35 touchdowns and like 20 interceptions, or like 25, like an absurd amount of interceptions, and it's just gonna be really humorous. I mean, it's just gonna be funny. So that's Bo Nix. Okay. Are we gonna put the Titans in doggy do or bad? You know what? We're gonna put the Dolphins in bad and not doggy do, because I genuinely think a lot of their problems are defensive and quarterback. Offensively, if they just had a better, if they had Joe Flacco, I honestly think they could win some games. But because they have Tyler Huntley, come on, guys, really? Tyler Huntley? If I'm the Dolphins, I'm trying to see if I can get Jameis Winston from the Browns. I'm serious. If the Browns are going to be stupid and continue to start Deshaun Watson for no okay, you guys, we're done talking about the Dolphins. Dolphins are bad. Dolphins might get the number 1 pick. A lot of that was because of Tua. I hope Tua retires. I don't want him to get like brain damage or anything. That's the end of this. Okay. Here are the doggy dude teams. The Cleveland Browns. What are they doing? Oh my gosh, what are they doing? Oh my goodness. I think part of it is living in Ohio. It's like I would like for the Browns to be good. Really would. I'm starting to get to the point where I think the Cleveland Guardians might just be my favorite baseball team, because I felt like actually genuinely upset when they lost yesterday. And so to me, that I think I'm starting to, they might be my favorite team. I will never be a Browns fan because they are the worst. And oh my gosh, they're so frustrating. And I wish they were good for my friends that are Browns fans. Really do. Really wish they were good. It would be fun for them. It would be so much fun. And, we could watch the games and we could enjoy them. But no, they just do dumb shit. And they start Deshaun Watson, and I hate him, and they're bad. Oh, my gosh. They're doggy do. The Raiders, they're doggy do. I knew they'd be I said they weren't going to be good this year. People trying to act like they had something going on. No, they're bad. They're going to draft Shedeur Sanders. I don't know why I even imagined the little fun thing about him going to the Dolphins, because that'd be kind of cool. Really would. But he'll go to the Raiders, and they might even get rid of Pierce, and then they'll bring in Deion Sanders, and then I'll have to find a new college football team, and that'll suck. I don't want to have to do that. Raiders are doggy-doo. Why did they get Gardner Minshew? Every team does this dumb shit where it's like, oh, let's go get, this guy that we know is not like a bridge quarterback, and let's just see how many games we can win. And I get that. I do. Like, I get you're trying to win games. That's cool. I'm happy for you. But in the same sense, don't lie to yourself. You know you're going to be bad. Don't try to be bad. I guess was really the answer near the Raiders. You know what? They did the best they could. I understand why. But now Devontae Adams is going to leave, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this team's so bad. All right, next doggy do, the New England Patriots. I actually think Gerard Mayo is going to play them better than they should. A part of me wants to just put them in bad, but they lost to the Dolphins, and it's kind of an embarrassing loss. It was, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It was so, 15-10. Ugh. To Tyler Huntley. Come on. Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley. Come on. Yeah, so I didn't want to make him doggy do, but I feel like I had to put him down there. Next up in doggy do, the Titans, dude. You think they'll draft a new quarterback? Because, Levis is fun. Let's be honest, he's not good. He's Bo Nix. They're the same, it's similar, except Will Levis is, the funniest quarterback in NFL history. What is the Titans' record? Are they 1-4? There's no way they're not. There's no way. They've got to be 1-4. There's no way in hell they won more than one game. 1-3. Oh, well, they had a bye. Okay. There's no winless teams, right? Everybody's won a game. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Were my Panthers the last to win a game? Probably. I didn't even think about it. Probably. All right, next up, doggy do, Jaguars. I don't even know what you do when you're the Jaguars. What's really the move? Because you're not going to get rid of Trevor. Why would you do that? So it's you're going to bring another coach in. And if you're a single Jaguars fan tweeting out, miss me with Urban Meyer, shut up. No. They don't miss Urban Meyer, buddy. No. Gosh. Last up in doggy do is my Panthers. Honestly, offensively, I think we're figuring some things out. But, overall, we're still not good. I think we're on the right track. I think we're better than last year. And if any single one of you, as a Panthers fan, tries to tell me, did you see that pass Bryce Young made when he came in? No. Okay, to answer your question, yes, I did see that pass. But no, he is not magically fixed. He rolled out right when he had a clean pocket, took a hit right after he threw it. For no reason. He could have just stayed in the pocket. He's still doing dumb shit. We still need to draft a new quarterback. If he doesn't come in by week 11 and play well, and I mean definitively well, not no, legit good. They're not on ESPN going, man, did we underestimate Bryce Young? He looked great for them. If they're not doing that by the end of the year, we're drafting somebody new. Get somebody new. Get Cam Ward in here. You know what? I'll even take Quinn Ewers. I'll even do it. I don't even really want Quinn Ewers. But gosh, come on, Panthers. We gotta step this shit up. Dave Canales, I like you. You're good. You can stay. You're fine. Oh, well. Man, that might be some of the angry. Okay, this is funny. This website's now showing me that ad I talk about on Thursday Night Prime, and it's them that giant ass switch. And you could tell that they just shot 3 of these, and they just change the logos every week, which I understand from an efficiency perspective. I get it, but it's also how soulless is that? Your commercials are all you know what I mean? They're not really unique. I'm come on, guys, why don't we do unique ones for every week? That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Actually challenge your writers and ad team, but no, let's not do that. For what it's worth, I get why they don't do that. I just think it'd be fun if they did, I don't know. Okay. All right. Let's do marquee matchups. This week we got 1 p.m. Commies at Ravens. That game's gonna be really fun. I expect the Ravens to kind of show everybody, like, this team is good, but they're not that good. 4 p.m., we got Chargers at Broncos, Lions at Cowboys. Yes, I just said Chargers at Broncos for a primetime pick. Look, there's, like, no good 1 p.m. games. Chargers, Broncos, the best I can serve you, okay? If you're like, Ryan, I am not watching Chargers, Broncos. Guess what? There's no MLB playoffs on Sunday. I don't know what else to tell you. Just only watch Lions at Cowboys. I guess if you want to do something else for 3 hours, there'll be 3 episodes of The Penguin out. You get 3 episodes of Penguin out. Watch those 3, and then get ready to watch the next episode as it comes out Sunday night. So there you go. If you don't want to watch Chargers at Broncos and you don't want to watch Lions at Cowboys at 4 p.m., watch The Penguin. It's awesome. So there you go. Lions and Cowboys should be good, though. I expect the Lions to smack the Cowboys, but, when the Cowboys are at home, it always feels like they get some crazy ref bullshit. So who knows? But the Lions should beat them. Primetime picks, Thursday Night Football. We have Niners versus Seahawks. Taking the Niners to win here. I feel like the Seahawks really need this, but I just don't see them getting it. Sunday Night Football, Bengals versus Giants. Got to take the Bengals here. It will be funny, though, as Malik Neighbors is going to do something crazy. If he's back healthy, I don't know if he will, but it would be fun if he's back for this game and national audience gets to see how awesome he is. Monday Night Football, Bills versus Jets. I think there's an argument that this is like the Jets, the new coach thing where it's like, oh, we got rid of our old coach and he was bad, so now we're going to play great. No, I don't see it. I think the Bills are too good for them to do it. If the Jets were playing honestly, like the Bengals, the Colts, like any of those need to take another step level teams, I could see it, but it's the Bills. They're not going to be able to do that with the Bills, so the Bills should smack them Monday Night Football. Okay. I think that's it for the pod. I will put up the picture of the tiers. It's probably been up now for a couple minutes. As soon as I wrapped it up, I will put it up so you can see it yourself. Thank you for listening. It's been a great time. This is probably some of the most angry I've been on the podcast in a while. But there's been a decent amount of sad podcasts. Not a lot where I get actually mad. I got pretty mad talking about the Browns. I guess I just get frustrated because I'm around so many Browns fans and you're in Cleveland and they're always bitching and moaning. And then something goes their way and they're all like, I can't believe you ever doubted Watson. And it's like, no, he still sucks. And then he plays like shit and they're like, I hate him. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Because you're angry when you win because now you're mad at everybody that doubted you. But then you lose and you side with all them. And you're like, yeah, I hate my team. And it's like, you just want to be angry all the time? Oh, here's the thing, guys. It worked. I got angry because of their rage. I let them bring me down. This is like the cycle of abuse they talk about, Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't get caught up in this negative cycle. All right. Well, on the bright side, I have not went and saw Joker 2. I had no interest. I've actually never seen Joker 1. Maybe I will at some point, but no, I got 2 episodes left in Burn Notice Season 4, and then I'm going to watch the Burn Notice TV movie about the fall of Sam Axe that I think Jeffrey Donovan actually directed, I want to say. So that'll be great. Get to see him do some directing. Jeffrey Donovan, if there's any chance you're one of my 66 subscribers, I have an idea for a movie for you. I understand you're getting up there because, trust me, your hair dye in Season 4 was quite noticeable in the early episodes. Did they dye it 2 days before filming? Goodness, dude. I understand you're 56. Actually, whoa, I thought you were older than that. Hold up. Never mind, we're so back. You're only 56? Oh, we're good. Oh, we're so good. Okay, yeah, I got an idea for a movie for you, and you're actually the perfect age for it. Never mind. You're good. As long as we make it within the next 10 years, we're set. So, hell yeah. There we go. Great. Awesome. Okay. Sick. Okay. Is that it from me? I think that is it. I don't know, guys. Hope you're all having a great time. As far as me still reading The Stand. If I get that done by Christmas time, I'll be really proud of myself. I think I'm going to read some today. So I think my goals for today, finish this. I got a new skit I filmed about a week and a half ago. So that'll be up on my other channel. Just Ryan Klinger on YouTube and like YouTube Shorts and then TikTok. That'll be up within probably a couple days. I think I might try to edit that today. Editing my sketches takes longer than most things, though, because it's all about the timing of the comedy, right? Whereas this, I just slap some images on, cut some parts out that I don't like, and then I put it out. So hopefully I get that done soon, and then I'm going to read probably The Stand later, watch 2 episodes of Burn Notice. I think that's my plan for the day. What are your plans for the day? I hope that goes well. All right, well, that is it from me. Enjoy the NFL, and if you don't, watch the Penguin or playoff baseball. Baseball is God's game. Football is for heathens. I will see you all in the next one. Ka-chow.